Okay, good morning. This is Dennis Miracle. I'm going to attempt to get through making a video about my double zipper purse. I'm going to be making the 8x12 version, which is, I think, the one that probably would most people could hopefully make. What you need is two pieces of your exterior fabric, 9x13. Cut them 9x13, two pieces. For your interior fabric, you need the lining fabric. You need four pieces of fabric cut 9x13. You need two zippers. These zippers don't match beautifully, but there is some pink in here that kind of goes with this. I'm trying to use up the last few of these zippers I bought about 10 years ago. These are number 3 zippers. And then instead of I usually use webbing to connect a strap to. I have cut a piece of fabric 4 inches by 10 inches, and then I just folded each side in and then folded them a second time, which will give you roughly a 1-inch wide strip. And I cut the strip in two to make it 5 inches by 1 inch wide, and I put these little crab claw thingamajigs on, and I sew it at the top just to hold them together. These are kind of pretty. They're rose gold, kind of goes with this. But anyhow, that's step 1. I think that's all the supplies you need. Find you an appropriate piece of or thread to match this, and then I will hoop my 8x12 hoop and be ready to start sewing. So I'll be back. Okay, I've loaded the design in the machine, and the first step is to do the outline of this zipper that's going to be in the middle. So well, I guess I do need to thread the thing so it can sew. Anyhow, that's what we'll do. Is we'll do the first step, which will outline the zipper, and your zipper head will need to be over on this side. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have run the first step, and you can see barely the lines for the first zipper. So I'm going to take my first zipper, place it right side up, and place it between the two lines, and pull that over like that. And I'm going to, let me get this in the picture. I'm going to tape the zipper down so it won't move, and then I'll run the step 2 that will sew the zipper down. So I'll be right back. All right, you can see that I have sewn the zipper down. I'm going to take scissors and get rid of this excess to about right there. The zipper ends right here. So anyhow, now I'm going to take the hoop off the machine, turn the hoop over, and I'm going to take my seam ripper and very carefully stick that in there, and I'm going to use this like this, Oh. And then I'm going to take my something. I'm going to take my embroidery scissors and remove this. So I'll be right back. Just as an aside, when you're using your seam ripper to do this, you should use it with this. Usually there's a ball on here, and the ball serves a great purpose. It doesn't allow you to cut into the whatever's beneath it, because I have so many times split or slit a zipper and ruined it by having running the seam ripper through it. Anyhow, it should be ball down, but it seems like every time I get one of these, the ball falls off. So, all right, I'm going to use my Havel's rounded tip device embroidery scissors and cut this piece out, which is not easy to do holding a camera. Okay. Okay. All right, that's good enough. All right, now I'm going to take one of my lining pieces and place it face down where here is the line of the zipper original placement line. I'm going to place my lining piece just a little tiny bit below that bottom line. So let me see if I can do this. This is why I quit doing these, because it's really not that easy. Okay. All right. So it's safely past this bottom line, face down. Now take and put tape here and here, wrap the remainder over onto the front side and tape that down. So let me do that. Okay, I have folded this from the back over to the front. You can see it through the mesh, and by the way, I forgot to say, this is, I use this no-show mesh for basically almost everything. So I've taped it down, and on the back, you can see tape there and tape there. Now, on the front, we're going to take our front fabric and you're going to place it, and this is a batik, so this makes it hard. I can never figure out what is the right side of a batik, but I'm just going to assume this is that I'm placing this right side down on top of the zipper in the same place, and you can see under here the other piece. So just make sure you're cover the zipper. I'm going to tape it here and here and run the next step, which will sew this down right here, sewing the piece on the back and the front piece. So be right back. Okay, you can see that this has been sewn down, and also on the back side it is where is it sewn? It's sewn there. Yes, you can see it's been sewn down there also. Now what you need to do is on the back side is pull this. Now let me reach around and undo it. Okay. Okay. Pull it down. Okay. And tape it right here on the sides to hold it down. Let me do that. Okay, you see I have taped it down on each side here on the back. Let me go back over to the front. And I'm going to get a piece of batting and place along here. So let me find some batting and do that. Okay, I found a piece of scrap batting that's just big enough to cover this area. I'm going to pull this front piece over the batting, and I'm just kind of going to hold it somewhat tautly. I'm not going to try to tape it. The back is taped down. The fabric on the back is taped. So let's put this slide it back into the machine. I hear tape moving. Let me see. Okay. Yes, I see a piece of tape that's come loose, so I'm going to grab that, and anyhow I'm going to sew the next step, which will sew this down right along here. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, I checked the back side. It is sewn down perfectly. Don't pull it too tautly that it will actually miss the fabric and just sew on the zipper. So just make it, a little taut so it's not moving around, and it's done a nice little seam right here across their zipper. So and keep in mind, if you're using a light fabric like this, I'm just using quilt batting. Don't use a darker something darker underneath, because it will obviously show through. I have at times, when I've been in that position, I have doubled this piece here over, which requires obviously more fabric, but I've doubled it in two, and then you can't see under that. But hopefully you've got some light colored regular batting. Anyhow, the next step is going to sew this all down, so let me do that. Okay, you can see that it has surrounded this lower part for the lower zipper, as is it's also got the back side. Obviously, when it sewed the front, it also sews the back side, this piece right here and down there. So that's sewed down too. Now the next thing is some pretty little stitching across the zipper area, just to give it some reinforcement. So let me do that. Okay, let me see if I can show you this. You can see, I think, a little bit of decorative stitching that just helps reinforce it slightly onto the zipper so nothing comes apart. Maybe that's unnecessary, but I like to do it. And then the next thing is going to be some pretty stitching on this piece here, and I'll let it do its thing and be back when that's done. Okay, you can see the pretty quilting on here. It is finished for this bottom part, and I had pulled down So it quilted, of course, the back side too, which I like. Maybe some people don't like that, and I could have left this piece of fabric tied up and hung over the back over to the front. If you don't like the way this looks, you can wait and not put that down at the time that it starts the quilting, but I like the way it looks in there too. What you're gonna see, this is the lower pocket, and this is what's actually, you're gonna not really see this much anyhow, because that's gonna be, how would I say it, against you, towards you when you open that pocket up. Now we're going to take another one of our lining pieces, and this needs to, if it'll come loose, this needs, I'm on the back side, this needs to cover this zipper by, oh, let's say a half inch, maybe right where my finger is pointing. So let me see. All right. So take this. What is that doing? Oh, okay. Take and tape this down along the top here, piece here, a piece here, and you could put a piece here, but make sure this is face down, because you will, the old thing about right sides together, you can see right sides will be together when this is attached. So go ahead and run this next step. That will sew along here and sew this down. Okay, I've sewn this piece down, and you can see the stitches barely, and you can see the fabric that I put down on the opposite side of the hoop. So the next thing is going to be the placement stitch for the upper zip, and let me run that and I'll be right back. Okay, you can see the placement line right here. That's the bottom of it, and up here is the top of it, which will be right against the edge of the top of the bag. So take your zipper and place it between these two lines. Tape it down or do whatever you usually do, and make sure the zipper head is over here like this other lower zipper. So let me do that, and I'm going to run that and sew it down. Okay, you can see that I have sewn that top zipper down. What I'm going to do now is take this leftover piece that's part of this, and I'm going to trim it about a half an inch or an inch below the seam, and I'm going to use this piece up here. So let me cut that and I'll show you. Okay, I have cut this little piece off the bottom down here, left, half inch or more. But I'm going to take this piece of fabric face down, and I think this is face down, and I'm going to place it just down below this top zipper, about a quarter of an inch. And let that sew. We don't have, for this one, we don't have anything to put on the back yet. Okay, this was placed face down, and you see it's stitched along here. Now, this is kind of a little tricky part. This is the worst part of the whole thing, because you need to take this, and you could put a piece of batting about an inch and a half, 2 inches wide right through here. But what I'm going to do is just fold this over and see. Okay, that would just about be perfect. You want it to the piece of fabric to at least cover this stitch line right here that you see. So let me finagle this thing where it hopefully is level across here, but that's what I'm going to be doing for the next moment. And then, okay, wait a minute. I've gotten ahead of myself. Please forgive me. The next thing that gets done is, sorry, the next thing that gets done is a stitch along through here like we did on this bottom one. So let me run that. I'll just run that while my camera's rolling because it won't take but a second. And I leave my machine at almost the slowest setting because I see I've got 288,000 stitches on this machine, and I've only had it 2 weeks, and I've had 3 thread breaks because I keep the machine at a slower speed, and I keep adjusting with the settings the height of the presser foot, because all I do is embroider on this machine even though it sews. And so you need to keep your paying attention to your height of your embroidery foot, making sure it just glides along the top of the fabric and not gouging it like it's plowing along it. So I keep adjusting this height. So anyhow, now that that's done, let me fold it under and I will stitch this down. Okay, I have folded this over and tried to make it as straight as possible along through there. So now I'm going to sew it down right now. Okay, as you can see, I have sewn this down. Now what I'm going to do now is run the next step, which will put more of this decorative fill over this to hold it down so it doesn't pop up like this. So let me do that. Okay, you can see that stitching has held this down so you can't see under it anymore. And now the next stitching is going to be, the pretty fill will be up here. So let me run that and I'll be back. Okay, that has been put, the pretty stippling or fill design has been accomplished. I'm going to take again and cut off this excess zipper and turn the design over, and then I'm going to do as I did before and remove this piece of no-show mesh behind the zipper using a seam ripper and these nice, where are they? That's not it. Well, somewhere. I've already lost them, I just got them yesterday. No, here they are. And using this embroidery scissors that has the blunt end. So let me go ahead and take this part off and then I'll be right back. Okay, I have trimmed that off as you see. This piece that we had put on earlier is going to eventually be closed up momentarily with stitching all around it. That's the, we'll enclose that lower pocket. Now we need to take another piece of our 3 of our 4 pieces of lining and take and fold it over about 1 inch like that, and take it to your iron and press this inch area here because we're going to place it right slightly under the this top zipper, about at the very edge of the bottom of the zipper here on the back side. So let me go to the iron and make that nice crease where it looks good. All right, I needed to get up and walk around. That's why I got up to iron this. You could have finger ironed it and it would have been almost as good, but now it's got a nice sharp crease. You need to place this face up. This is on the back of the hoop. You need to place it just just about this line, right about this line right here. Maybe, let me see. As long as, just make sure you're not in the, here's where the teeth are, right here. Make sure you're a tiny bit below the teeth so you don't get this caught in the teeth. And as I say, you put this little crease and you need to then tape this down, at least on both sides, and make sure that you are, like I say, not getting into the teeth where it'll screw up the whole thing and you won't be able to open your zipper very well, which I did about a week ago on something else. So anyhow, tape this down, run the next step, which is step 16, and I'll be right back. Now you can see where this is on the back side of the hoop. You can see here where the bobbin thread is, and so it's held it down very nicely. The next step is going to do that. Turn it over and stick it back in the machine, and it'll do that nice wavy little decorative stitch here to further make sure that this is fortified, you might say, and that it will, hold forever, hopefully. So let me do that. Okay, you can see the pretty little decorative stitching that also helps hold down this piece of fabric. And so the next thing is get out your whatever you've used to make your little connecting devices, and it's going to, it will be sewing a line right here. Well, let's go ahead and do that. And you can see okay, you can see this is where you're going to place, it's an inch wide. You can see that's where you're going to place your, that's a placement line for your connector. So let me see where I put those, and I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. I'm going to line it up with the edge right like that, and I like to push this up. Okay, there we are. Where this piece of metal, the crab claw, is basically goes along this top of this fabric here. That's what I usually use as a way to make them level. So it's going to stitch down now that, and all right, and then I'll repeat the same procedure for the other side, and after I've put on the other one, I'll be right back. Okay, we're getting down to the final few steps. Take and open both of your zippers about midway, and so you can see with this bottom zipper, you can see what the lining of that fabric, or of this pocket and take and I don't know if I can do this with one hand or not. I don't think I can. I'm going to take and lift that up and put that zipper head about right here in the center. So let me do that. Okay, you can see both my zippers are in the center. So get your other piece of exterior fabric, place it face down over the entire design, making sure you cover the bottom of the design here and also past the top of this zipper. And so I don't know which is the, I think that might be it, but I don't know. Okay, so make sure your zippers are already in the center because it makes it much harder to have to open them up once you've stitched it. I'm going to go cut a piece of batting about the size of this 9 by 13 or so and place the batting on top of this. So let me do that and be right back. Okay, so we have placed the back. This will be on the back fabric. We placed it face down where you have right sides, against right sides. If this were different fabric other than batik, you would definitely see that these are the right sides facing each other. I've placed a piece of batting, and I'm going to do a stitch will go all the way around the entire design. Like I say, make sure both of your zippers are in the center. So I'll be right back. Okay, you can see that I stitched all the way around. And so now for the very last step, we're going to turn the design over, the hoop over to the back side. Okay. You see, oops, well, there. You see the back side. You're going to take the last piece, your fourth piece of lining, you're going to place it face down. In other words, right sides facing each other. You are going to cover the design, the entire design, as you did on the front, going past the zipper at the top, making sure you're covering the bottom too. Go ahead and tape this down right here, and let me see, here's another piece. Okay. Okay, don't move, quit moving. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over and stick it back in the machine, and it's going to do a bean stitch all the way around, but leaving an opening right down here so we can open the design, turn it through there. So I'll be back in a moment. Alrighty, we are done with the stitching, and that was not a bean stitch. I think it's called a, well, I don't know. It's called a something. It was on the tip of my tongue and I've forgotten already. But it's a nice stitch to reinforce the exterior. So now I'm going to take this out of the hoop off the machine, take the design out of the hoop. I'm going to take my good strong scissors and I'm going to cut. Well, let me take it out and I'll be right back. Okay, I have removed the design. I'm looking at now the back of the design out of the hoop, and this is the last piece that we had put on, and you'll notice this is where it left an opening here. The design was like this on the machine. So I always take this piece here with the opening and the the next piece down right under it, and then I take with my scissors and go along the very edge of this and get rid of all these other pieces. Get that out of the way. Just cut it right across from one side all the way to the other. Do not cut these two pieces. So this piece that's open and the piece right below it, these lining pieces, keep them out of the way, but go ahead and remove the rest of this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have cut everything off other than the two pieces of lining. I am going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut at an angle right up to the stitching, just like that. I'm going to continue about 1/4 of an inch or so all the way around. And when I get down to here, I'm going to turn my scissors and go at an angle right like that, and that'll make it easier to turn in. And we're almost done, so go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, you see I have, okay, there's a little piece there I need to pull off. I've trimmed it about 1/4 inch away from the seam. Got these two pieces left here. This is open. Turn the design out through this opening and I'll be right back. Now I've turned it through that hole in the bottom. I like to go and press it a bit, so I've got to go to the other room, and when I do press it I will be turning these two pieces in like so. Well, that's not hopefully how it will look later, but like that. Turn both of those pieces inside, and then I'll be right back in a moment. Okay, I have done some pressing on this, and I have got these turned in and pressed together. I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch from here to here, and then I'll meet you back in a moment. All right, I've sewn across here and closed the bottom up. Now I'm going to turn the design out the top through the top, and I'll be right back. All right, I have turned the bag out, and you can see the front and the back, and this opens up, and you can see it is open all the way to the bottom. It's a compartment they're completely separate and independent from each other, so nothing will get mixed in with the other. And here is the main compartment, same way, all lined, very nice. And I think that's about all I can say about this. Usually I use this stuff here, which is a polyester or poly something webbing, and it's very durable. It's kind of like seat belt material, I think, somewhat reminiscent of that. But anyhow, I don't want to show you too much because this room is an absolute embarrassment because I live like a hoarder. This is my area, my sewing room, off of my bedroom and bathroom. So this is my side of the house. But anyhow, I hope I've finally gotten this done, and you can contact me if you'd like to get the pattern. It would be $5, And I'm going to get this posted on YouTube, and by the time you see this, it'll be there, obviously. You won't be seeing it anywhere else but there. So I appreciate you staying with me, all of you wonderful ladies and gentlemen who've stayed with me for 4 or 5 years now. And I've had this hiatus of making videos because it's hard to do it with one hand, and I've got such tremendous anxiety. But today I felt that I could do that. And this is the day the hurricane's supposed to blow through, so I don't know why I suddenly decided I could do this. But anyhow, hope we all get through this. And if you do this pattern, I hope you enjoy making many of these, because you know I've made probably 75 of them. So I just want to thank you all again, and we will hopefully chat soon. Bye-bye.